Welcome back to another episode of Faithful to the Traitors. We've gone up the turret, written a name,
Speak for yourself.
dusted it out a bit. Fergus played the piano, not piano, what did he play?
The organ.
The organ for
Fergus
us.
played his organ.
And we are here to...
Slay.
We are here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
No, we are here to discuss the episode, what was it, episode 5
Yep.
of the Traitors US. And as always, I am Ben, and I am still acting faithful.
Acting faithful, eh? I'm Alex, and despite the rumours, I am still a faithful.
Mm-hmm. There's no
So-
Charlie on your lap this week. Has he been banished?
Charlie, stop saying this week.
Sorry, this episode.
Because it makes me suddenly think, God, was it a week when we recorded this? No, it was like an hour
No, it's
ago.
a few hours ago.
Yeah,
He's been banished.
he hasn't
Charlie
been
the
banished.
cat.
He's had his tea, and now he's forgotten about me. Like all cats. Once they got what they want, off. He's had his heat. He's had his tea. He's gone. He's had enough. I've just noticed that the flowers that are next to me, the vase is looking quite dry.
I know. Need to fill it up.
Poor flowers.
Fergus.
Yeah, where's Fergus when you need him? Oi,
Come on.
Fergie, come on.
No, we do have some very sad news today from the murder in the night.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at me contributing. What?
Not anymore. He can
That
no
was his
longer
contributing.
contribute.
Yes, it was a very tense argument between Suri and Cody. She said she wanted to get her way. She was adamant that they were having a bromance and it was a bit worrying for her. And she said, well, prove it. Prove you don't care and murder him then. And then there was a weird thing where they're like, well, let's kill Kyle instead. But no.
Well, Kyle was always on the chopping block, but they made the right
Suri wanted
decision
her
not
way.
choosing Kyle.
They did. Because that all turned upside down.
So I've noticed that, let's be honest here, the one with all the power in the whole game, not just as a traitor, not just amongst the traitors, but amongst
Kate.
the faithful as well. Yes, is Kate. When she's sober, she graced us with a sober Kate today. I feel like Kate's taking the game a bit more seriously now.
I don't know.
I feel that way. But no, the one with all the true power is Siri.
Suri.
Sorry, my bad. But Suri, I feel like she don't you think? Like she's manipulating everyone. She's manipulated Cody to get Ryan out. Christian kind of was on the Suri train this week as well.
She does it as well without saying anything. She kind of looks at people and she never says much, but she seems to be able to sway a lot of people without even talking.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
what I'm
quite,
saying.
Quite strange.
Because and also
And Stephanie does the talking for her and puts herself in it. I feel is what we're leading to.
but I don't think people mind Stephanie. So I think they
Kate does.
accept her to kind of like be the mouthpiece for Suri. Yeah, you're right. She kind of winds up Stephanie and lets her run while she stands in the background and maliciously raises one of her eyebrows.
And she's very good, like around the breakfast table. She's very good at looking worried about who's coming through the door, even though she knows. And she's very good at like looking upset and feeling like, oh, this is so stressful. I just don't. I'd never better be a traitor.
And
so she's good at doing that.
And she even accused Cody and Christian of being like overacting, B movie actors. She named them like overacting the whole.
Yeah, she said
cause.
Christian was a bad actor, B movie actor.
But then
wasn't he?
she's wrong about this as well. I think Suri needs to be a bit careful here because Christian is fast becoming, if not all has become, a group. Like as like friendship group,
they trust him, don't they?
They like him a lot.
The faithfuls trust and like him.
And he especially in the game this episode, he
We haven't even
grew
said
a
who's
bond.
been murdered yet.
I think
We were so upset
we put
about.
We put the soundbite out.
I was like, yeah. Look at me contributing. What?
I thought we'd be spending a lot of time on your favourite Ryan.
Well, there's not really so much to talk about with Ryan, is there? Because like we said, Ryan was a
He
bit of
looked
a spare
confused
part
that there was a
throughout
letter
the whole.
on his chair.
Well, he arrived at the chair, kind of saw the piece of paper, went, oh, what?
Everyone saw him as a threat, so they got rid of him.
Well, no, that's what he
said.
thought.
Yeah.
He said that he believed that everyone saw him as a threat. Literally,
I'm here to slay.
this is Ryan's world and we just live in it. I mean, Ryan literally thinks that as well. He thinks that he was enough of a threat that's the reason why they kind of knocked him out of the game. When in actual fact, as we mentioned already, the reason was almost to show his loyalty was amongst the Traitors. the Traitors by Surrey, and it it worked. But I know I am upset that Ryan's gone, but at the same time, it's like it's
not a big deal.
He didn't, as much as he claimed again in his mind he contributed. He didn't really contribute very much, and it wasn't a big deal to see him go. To be fair,
and Amanda's gone. Which Alan Cummings just told us in about 10 seconds. That was it.
Amanda left on her own fruition.
Well, no, the reasons beyond her control.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said. Reasons beyond her control.
I mean, I think we're going to read an email out a little bit later about producer manipulation again. But I did turn to you when they said Amanda had gone, and I said, "Oh, isn't this the time, the point of the show when they normally ask the traitors if they want to enroll someone?"
Only if they've lost a traitor, though.
Well, again, we'll talk about that because something happened at the end of this episode. But I wondered if there was, because of time restrictions and editing and all that lot, whether there was a moment where that they had asked Amanda to be a traitor and she said no. And the rules in the British version was that if you said no, then you're out the game, because that's how they gained...
Well, that's how the traitors chose to take the rules.
That's why the guy became
later on, the second time. That was way later on, though.
Yeah, but no, because okay, I'm not going to talk about the British version, but in the British version they didn't ask. Well, no, only if you've not. For goodness sake, you're tying me up in knots. But it was at this point.
You wouldn't be very good around the round table, would you? I think you're a traitor. He's a traitor, everyone. Alex is a traitor.
You just got a vendetta against me.
Asshole.
Oh, goodness. No, it was around about this point when they had their first option of joining someone.
But they didn't have to accept it on the first time.
Yes, they did have to accept it. It was
Alex
over a choice. What? Alex didn't?
Alex didn't accept it. You're thinking of later on when someone else was
you're
forced
right. Okay, yes, all right.
I didn't want to spoil the whole of the UK
Right,
series, but you've made me now spoil the whole series. Okay.
Wow, you'd be a horrible, horrible person on the Traitors. That's why I would never...
I'm kind of an icon.
Yeah, you are like Kate, you are.
That's not Kate, so...
Oh, for goodness
that's
sake.
even... Well,
Brandy.
maybe you should just leave. You're banished
Just banish
and
me.
murdered.
Just vote me out. Get your slate out and put my name on it. All right?
Yes. I mean, Cody made the biggest mistake of his gameplay so far around the breakfast table, didn't he? Thinking he could talk to Kyle in his ear and win him over with one little sentence,
Whisper.
and it actually backfired and turned out to be the worst thing he can do. And I imagine the next episode, Cody will be ousted. I feel he's not got long.
If he does, though, it'd be interesting to see what, especially Surrey, does with that regard.
Vote him out.
Whether because I think I said it on the last episode that really traitors only get found out when other traitors backstab them, and I think we're at that
They'll
point.
have to once so many people suspect someone, it's more suspicious of you not voting them out yourself.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
but I think that's what's going to happen with Cody. But it's weird how he seems to be visibly struggling more each episode with his role in this game, where he's known as this player, and they all mentioned that today, didn't they? They said, "Oh, you've done it twice on Big Brother, so why are you playing this weird quiet game now?" But he does seem to be struggling with this role.
It's a different game.
It's killing Ryan, you see.
It is.
That broke him.
He's broken like a bro. I love that Quentin said, you don't do that to a bro. And it's like, okay, all right. Gosh, lads. That's what it felt like for me, lad culture. Big Brother is a different game. As I said with Stephanie, she's playing the game, or was playing the game, she was on Survivor.
Yeah, we've got a truce.
Yeah, this isn't Big Brother. This isn't a popularity contest. This is
a deceiving contest.
Hide and sneak. Goodness me, I cannot talk. A hide and seek contest. And you can't play it in the same way. And I think Cody's realised that, and the realisation of that has kind of taken him aback a little bit. And I mean, give Cody a bit of time to kind of settle into the role. I know it's been 5 days, but give him a bit of time now. He's realised what the role is. Now he's had that mistake with Kyle.
Too late, though. They're all...
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. If he's not given time to do it. But he's done that with Kyle, and people are beginning to suspect him. I mean, There's a lot of people pointing fingers at him now. Quentin being one of them, Andy being a second.
Stephanie, because Kyle basically looked at her as he was leaving and basically said, "It's Kyle, it's Cody." So she's suspicious now. So she and I liked how this is going right to the end of the episode, but I like at the end how she was saying to people, "Cody's onto me, and he knows that I'm onto him," and she was saying that to as many people as she could. So if she gets murdered, it will look really suspicious.
Yeah,
so she's kind of saved herself in that way, being like, "Well, if you murder me now, we all gonna know it's Cody." So I thought that was quite clever how she did that subtly.
And again, it goes back to something we said on the last episode, which is if you out a traitor, you're seen as the one who outed them, as in Stephanie. If people kind of say, "Oh, it was Stephanie who said it all along."
Yeah, she must be faithful.
She must be faithful,
which she is.
Which on this occasion she is. Yeah, absolutely.
But Suri can tag along with that.
But I think Suri will be on the coattails of Stephanie. So on this, you saying that Stephanie's kind of like being the minion for Suri. I think actually on this occasion, if Stephanie was the one
who ride that wave,
if she's the one who gets found, she's the one who points a finger at Cody. Everyone jumps on that bandwagon. I think she's going to be seen as quite a popular character. And I think then Stephanie is in a very strong position. But likewise, so is Suri, because they're kind of best friends because they're both on Survivor together.
And there's also like a team of people ganging up against Kate as well. Because Kate,
I mean, that's not surprising, is it?
Kate hates a new person every episode, basically. We've come to discover for some weird reason. She just decides when she wakes up who she's going to hate. And this time it was Amanda. No, well, not Amanda.
No,
it was
Rachel.
Rachel.
She hates Rachel Riley
she
from
hates
Countdown
Rachel.
fame.
For like really no reason. Like Rachel walked into the room and she like got up and walked out. And then when Rachel like questioned her, said, "That was weird. Why did you do that?" She was like, "I wanted some fresh air. It's nothing to do with you."
Yeah.
And it's like, what? It was really, but the way she does it was so obvious that it was to do with you. It's just like,
well, yeah, because she walked into the room and then she walked out. Angelica did, when that happened, Angelica did address it to Kate directly, and Kate said, "Oh, but it's not personal. It's not personal."
The thing that annoys me about Kate is that every time someone confronts about everything, she either rolls her eyes, walks out and says, "I'm not bothered," or just swears at them.
But that's my point.
She never explains how she's feeling.
No, but I think again, maybe it's kind of a thing she does outside of the show.
It's just like she doesn't care. It's just really odd because she did the same thing to Stephanie. Stephanie questioned her about something around the round table at the end, and she just said, "Oh, fuck off." And it was like, okay, well.
But maybe she's holding her cards close to her chest because she feels like she can't open up with anyone. Now Brandy's gone.
Kate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe, she
she's
could
an
be
open book, isn't
she could be a very complicated person for you, That, she's down in that bottle of wine every night.
No,
the bottom of that wine glass won't give you your solutions,
Team Rachel
Kate.
And Stephanie.
Well, no, I agree. I think Rachel's in the right on this one.
I think Kate's playing a horrible game.
I just think Kate.
She's playing she's on the wrong show, basically.
No, the funny thing is that there is
she's in the wrong production.
There is glimpses. There is genuine glimpses throughout the show of Kate actually wanting to get this right. I actually do think she wants to be involved in it, but she's unfortunately she's obviously quite a loner. She's obviously a very difficult person to be friends with, and so she's realised that at her whatever age she's at. And now
it's impossible to tell.
It is, and with all that Botox. And she's sorry, no disrespect, Kate. But she also and so she just obviously doesn't want to let anyone in. And perhaps that's what she's like. You can't say about, for argument's sake, Michael, that he had social anxiety and say, "Oh, poor Michael, he has social anxiety," but not hold out that olive branch for Kate as well. You don't know what Kate's like necessarily. Kate might be a very personal person, has been hurt in her life by being open with people in the past, and now knows that she can't do it on this occasion. Yes, she's being a bit of a prick toward Rachel. I agree with you 100% on that. But, Rachel just needs to stay out of her way. There's no point kind of like just kind of poking the wasp's nest. If Kate doesn't like you, you just don't hang around Kate. And that's the end of it. If Kate walks out of the room, you just go, well, Kate's a twat. Fine, she can do that. That's the end of it. And I think that's and again, you're in a very condensed environment. It's very intense for the last 5 days. It's been very, very intense. All you're doing is playing a challenge and then talking about who could be a traitor. It must be horrible. It must do your nut in. But you have to. There's perspective in this, and I feel like I'm not defending Kate, but I feel like there are glimpses. By the way, is she same age as me?
Yes.
I can't believe that. I love you, Kate. But you got to.
She's pregnant.
Is she?
Yeah, in December she announced it.
Wine baby. She's going to produce a vinery. No, I feel like we should, with Kate, there is genuine glimpses there that she's interested in the game.
There's glimpses of her being interested.
There is for me.
She's walked around
I
annoyed
see
all the time. All of her decisions are wrong, and she's just rude, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, she doesn't give a shit what you think, because
I
she doesn't
know.
give a crap what anyone thinks.
Anyone thinks. But I do feel she's in the wrong game, and there was a few people voting for her around the round table, but she lasted another episode.
Well,
she's still there.
That was an interesting thing, because Stephanie actually brought that up at the round table. She said that the whole reason we all voted off Michael last round table was because we were basically getting him out of the way, seeing if he was a traitor. If he wasn't a traitor, we all agreed that the next logical step was we were going to vote for Kate. And somehow that got diverted.
Well, Kate rolled her eyes, pouted, and just said,
Asshole.
and then that was that. I was like, okay, thanks.
She's a woman of very little subtlety.
True. What about the mission? We've skipped over the mission this week. It was very different in the UK version, wasn't it?
No, it was exactly the same as the UK version. All the clues were identical. No, the outcome was the same too. They won all 4 challenges.
Return,
But no, yes. In the UK version, at the end of it, 2 of the people wearing the masks were people who returned after the first challenge. But
this time they were all just
the thing
strangers.
that was a big difference from how they was played was that the reason they were split into teams in the UK version was because one of the teams won to play for the Shield.
Immunity.
And the Shield would have been immunity from being murdered.
That's very Survivor, that is.
Not from being banished. They could still be voted off.
Yeah, but they couldn't be murdered in the night.
But they couldn't be murdered in the night. And it was up to them whether they wanted to share that information or not. I'm really surprised they haven't brought that into the game yet.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I wonder if they will, maybe a bit later on.
Because again, you said they recorded the American version before the UK version, so
they can they can find any.
I wonder if
flaws in the system
fine
and
tune
then
the game,
fine tune it for the UK one. As we're talking about riddles,
yes,
fans of the last series of this podcast will know that on this episode I gave you a riddle.
Right.
So I'm going to give you another riddle now. It's a little.
I hate riddles. Another reason why I shouldn't do this game.
Okay, you ready?
No.
I'm tall when I'm young, and I'm short when I'm old. What am I?
I'm tall when I'm young.
Yeah, that's paragraph 79,000 and line 7.
Oh, gosh, I need to flick through
in the
that
Traitors book.
Do you want me to count to that number? I think V is 5, isn't it, in Roman numerals? I'm tall when I'm young, but short when I'm old.
What am I?
Young.
Okay, you don't need to answer it now. Just think about it.
Are you going to give me the answer, or are you going to keep us hanging?
I might give you it at the end.
Oh, thanks.
We can just keep it hanging for a few minutes and see if you can think what goes short when it's old. So they were doing riddles.
I can think of something.
One team got all the money.
Right. Wait, they don't keep it. It goes in a general pot, though.
Yes, but like they were, it's a bit stupid, like them being against each other and being like, "Oh, we didn't win any." It's like it all goes to the same place. So it's stupid.
Well, again, Alan kind of said the reason you're doing that is because you're going to see if someone's not a team player and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and then
would
you
you
can
like to
banish
use that at the
them.
round table? Again, it's now that's probably why it was never mentioned in the British version. It's
someone-
now been forgotten, hasn't it? No one really uses that as an excuse anymore.
Well, I saw someone mention that how they're using, like, if you're not good at the challenges, maybe you should vote them out, sort of thing.
Like the weakest link.
And I saw people saying like, "Oh, it's funny that there's no, it's all able-bodied people contestants."
Oh yeah.
And like, if it wasn't like the other versions, and they were like, "You're not very good at the challenge, you're old, or you're disabled, or whatever," that's a really bad thing to like be like, "Well, we'll banish you then."
Yeah,
Do you know
to
what I
single
mean?
someone out for that
That's
reason.
really bad. So in that text, it's kind of like, yeah, that is really awful.
Yeah, it's a terrible contest.
It's a really stupid thing, especially when they're all playing for the same prize money anyway. So it is a bit of a. That's
They're
why
all
that
young.
needs, yeah.
They're all young. They're all able-bodied. You're absolutely right. Again, that might be a reason why it's kind of that idea was taken out of the UK version.
Makes sense.
It does make sense. It's kind of as you say, it singles people out for no fault of their own.
They saw someone wearing a watch, and it just turned out to be his watch.
Well, it wasn't a metal watch. It wasn't a gold watch.
And the person, whoever they were, the extra like pulled his cuff down and hid it when he
Yeah.
realised.
Maybe he didn't realise
I shouldn't be
that-
wearing this.
I was told by the
I should
production
be
crew
only
not to wear
wearing a
watch.
plum on my hat. So that was funny. So they lost out on their one chance that they had to get any money.
And that extra was never asked to come back again.
No,
They've
sacked.
been
Bless them. But yeah,
taken away.
that was all. I think Amanda was doing all those riddles, wasn't she? I think was it Amanda?
Amanda
who was saying
watches something on Discovery,
Yeah, something like that.
a program on Discovery that
She got all the riddles right.
what is it? Just like Murder She Wrote.
Oh yeah, it was like
Back
a
to back.
true crime something.
Oh,
She said,
yeah.
didn't she? It's like nothing to do with riddles actually. But yeah, so she was doing that for the team.
She was very good, and also if you notice, Suri had to go to the confessional twice because she was the best at listening to two numbers being read out, and then
running
to the
ahead in
team.
church.
Yes, yeah.
Running up the altar, pushing them all out of the way. Christian pushed her as well to get going at the beginning. Did you see that?
Good.
He physically pushed her and then laughed to everyone else and said, oops. So
No, that couldn't have happened because Christian and Suri were on the same team.
that's what I mean. He pushed her to go. He said, go.
Oh, did it? Oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, hush, hush, hush. Go on. Do your job. Do your job, you. Christian was the one who kept walking around with the... What do they call those bags? They're like, you put money in it, like tips.
Contribute, not contribute.
Tips to Jesus.
Yes,
Thanking
yeah.
him for being around. For
He
a
was
bit.
asking them all for their purses and their monies and their
Did you
glasses.
notice? You said in a couple of episodes ago that you had a thing about, that Christian was Aaron's trousers. He was wearing Aaron's trousers.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
Listen
proves
to
my point
listen to
that
the British series.
Christian is the Aaron's trousers of the UK
is.
version.
He looked very fine. You have nothing to add?
No, what I had was enough. Those who know. Those who don't.
Aaron's trousers.
That's a riddle.
That's a riddle and an enigma in a mystery.
So what
yeah.
about Kyle then? Kyle's banishment then, because he was sort of panicking and going around all the groups, pleading his case about what Cody said to him at breakfast, which made him suspicious of Cody, and him going round to every single person ended up making them suspicious of him.
Well, again, Suri had brought up the idea to Kyle that his name's been offered by a few people, but she only did that because she saw at the breakfast table. I mean, she is quite cunning. She saw at the breakfast table that
That's what I mean. She sits there and watches,
Cody
doesn't say anything.
Yeah, Cody had
She's like a sponge.
Cody had whispered in Kyle's ear something, and so she did that on purpose to get that information out, which he did. He then shared with her what Cody had said, that Ryan had offered names and this and the other, and that again instantly brought Suri's back up. She was like, well, if he's not sharing these tactics that he's doing with other people with me, then he must
Yeah, I
what
can't
else is
trust
he
him.
hiding from?
And he also went to Andy as well and tried to convince them like what to do. And,
Yes.
and I thought, they're actually on her side because oh yeah, I trust you. And then at the round table, Andy was like,
they voted for
"No, I'm voting
him.
for you." So
Yeah, they voted for him, and it was like, wow. I thought that was a bit backstabby by Andy, because you're right, they were very approachable with what
yeah,
Kyle wanted to share.
Kyle thought he was safe, and then that popped
Yeah.
up. So
and then they were the ones who kind of pointed out, along with Quentin, that Kyle had been going to group to group to group to group to person to person to
yes,
person.
because they
kind of-
started. They were like, "I'm starting today," and did their speech, and that's what set it all off.
Yeah, well, and but we basically said that he's been going round to everyone, kind of trying to defend himself, and I felt like, oh, that's so mad that you thought that someone trying to defend themselves like that would be almost
Suspicious.
convincing that they're suspicious. In a weird way, I wouldn't think that way. I think if you were and again on the last
Yeah, 'cause
round
the
table,
same. That's what Michael had been going through for about 3 times.
yeah, and on the last
he was
round
a
table,
faithful.
I think it was Quentin, but correct me if I'm wrong, who actually said that, if you weren't a traitor, you'd be defending yourself, you'd be fighting your corner, and that's exactly what Carl was doing. But Andy and Quentin kind of pulled them up for that, and
I
said,
love how
"You shouldn't be doing
sure
that."
Quentin is of his theories on people and how they're acting and getting into their minds, but every time he's been wrong, completely wrong.
He's been very wrong, hasn't he, Quentin?
So funny stuff like that.
But his conviction is enough to kind of
Convince
have
everyone.
confidence in
Convince
what he's
me,
saying.
and I even know who they are.
No.
I'm listening to him.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for Kyle, and I think Kyle felt a bit. The funny thing is, I think Kyle thought he was safe as well. I think that he thought that he was safe enough. He had enough because he kept saying, "I need time.
Yeah,
I
he
need
doesn't have time for
to-
his great plan. He has all these
Yeah.
steps, but he hasn't
I
got
need
time
to
to get
pull
to
on
the
all
step.
the threads. I need to get these threads and I need to sort it out. I need the time." And I think he thought that he had at least one more day because he thought that Kate would sail out. That Kate, this was the end of Kate. And Kate just seems to just kind of come in but come back out again. I mean, Kate was again being voted for this round
But
table.
not because people thought she was a traitor, just because people don't like her.
This is it.
I feel that's what Rachel was doing, and Stephanie, and
Again,
whoever else
though,
voted for
you
her.
say that Kate's a horrible person, and you said that like
I didn't say
Kate,
she was a horrible person. I said she's not playing the game
you
very well.
insinuated it. Rachel voted for Kate because she doesn't like her very much. Did Stephanie vote for Kate?
Yes, Stephanie did.
Yeah, but Kate voted for Kyle.
Mm,
So who is the devil in that group?
that's true.
You see, Kate's. This is why I said earlier that it feels like Kate is actually taking it more seriously because she's playing the game.
No.
No, well,
refuse.
you've got to admit that seems like someone who's a game player. And also, I suppose sorry to go back to Kate, but if a lot of people have been throwing accusations at her, saying, you're deliberately disrupting the game, you're kind of making everyone confused and this and the other. But it would make sense then if she just wants to kind of like stand back and not let people think that's what she's doing. That's maybe the reason why she's being so quiet.
No.
I'm defending
Quiet.
Kate. Well, she's being quiet.
She's
though,
doing that
isn't
because
she?
she can't be bothered. She
poor
wants to
Kate.
go home.
Do you know what? I'm Team Kate now. Now my favourite Ryan's gone. Almost to spite
Well, she'll be
you
gone
as
the
well.
next episode if she's your favourite.
Exactly.
Good.
There you go. So
That's
I'm
very
Team
good.
Kate. I'm on board for
I'm here to
Kate.
slay.
Yeah. So Kyle went. He said he was a faithful. Everyone got upset. Alan even had a word with them.
He did.
It
Told
was like
them
a
off.
serious head teacher moment. That was
wasn't
told them
he?
off, saying, "What are you doing?
It's like when
Come on, get this done."
It's like when the teacher wants to tell one person and the whole class off, but has to tell the whole class off in order to make sure that the suspicion isn't there. So he was directing it at the traitors, saying like, "You're a cruel lot," but he had to do it to everyone.
To all of them, yes.
Alan Cummings. I liked Alan Cummings this episode, actually. He's really warming to the role. Do you not think? Like in episode one, he was kind of like...
No, I think he's been good the whole way through.
No, he's warming to it now. You can tell he's
More
really
theatrical.
he's relishing it and enjoying it a lot more.
He reminds me more of like Crystal May's host. Like he lives...
Richard O'Brien.
He lives in the castle.
Yeah.
Like, like how the host pretended
Mumsy.
they... Yeah, that's what I feel he is. Whereas Claudia felt like she was still a presenter on a show. Whereas Alan Cummings feels like he owns the castle. He lives there.
Yeah.
And it's his
Has
sort
Angus.
of, his little world.
Angus on Bell.
Fergus,
Fergus,
yes.
sorry. I'm a fan of Fergus. I must remember FF, fan of Fergus. I know what you mean. He's kind of he's created a story, a backstory for his character. He's like Alan Cummings, the castle owner, not Alan Cummings, the actor.
And the episode ended with a knock at the door, didn't he? With the traitors. So they didn't have any options of murdering. It was a knock at the door. And
Well, we don't
really
know. We don't know. We
what
don't
it
even know if
was.
it's Alan coming in. We just. I'm presuming it's Alan.
Well, who else is it going to be?
It could be Amanda.
She's gone.
Or it's all a big ruse. You said yourself, the production crew.
That would be a really bad edit.
The production crew kind of they in a couple of episodes back they made everyone think that one person was going to get murdered, like it was an inevitability, and then all of a sudden they had three options by the next
true.
episode.
I bet he's coming in to say Amanda's left, so there's no murder.
Nope, I think he's coming in to say nothing about Amanda because Amanda doesn't matter.
Maybe he'll say Amanda's had to leave. You have the option. You can pretend you murdered her, or say that she left and there's no
Oh,
murder.
I'd take that one. Yeah, that'd
Maybe
be good.
something like that.
I do think that
Or double murder.
No, I truly 100% believe that they
Mm-hmm.
will be given the option of recruiting another. I know you said why would they have four
no,
traitors,
no.
but I do think they would give them an option to recruit a fourth.
No, they don't need to yet.
Why not?
Because none of them have been found out.
Yeah, but it mixes things up a bit. The dynamic in the traitor group is already a little bit fragile.
Okay, well, if it is then, even though it's not that we know that. I'm just
Well,
saying
exactly.
it's not.
Don't
who
tell me-
do you
don't
think
put
they
words in
should
my
pick
mouth.
as the next traitor then? Go really quick.
Who would I
should
pick as
be
the
there?
next?
Yeah,
Well,
the
who should they pick as
Yeah.
the next traitor? 100% Kate.
For God's sake. Really?
Yes.
Why? So she can
Because-
get voted out really
No,
quick.
because she would be absolutely awful, and it'd be hilarious to watch the
she'd
fallout.
end
of
up
that.
exposing the whole game.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
Exactly. Sorry, okay. I'll make Kate my dream one. I think if they had to recruit another one, I think Quentin's a strong cause.
I was going to say Stephanie, maybe.
No,
Or Rachel.
I don't think Stephanie would be strong enough. Like you said, she's a bit of a lapdog for old Surrey. Sorry, Stephanie. Rachel.
Maybe Rachel.
No, Rachel's not strong enough either.
She's meant to be a really good game player on Big Brother, though, wasn't she? I think.
I don't know. She seems a bit.
She's a fan favourite.
What, on this or on Big Brother?
So I'm kind of an icon.
Big Brother. She's an icon. She's a fan favourite, so she must
But
be
she's
good.
saying she's an icon. You don't say you're an icon yourself, unless you, of course, you're Mariah Carey. But
Maybe she's Mariah Carey.
Asshole.
in disguise.
There you go. So that's how you're through. So you think they're recruiting another traitor?
No, I'm saying if they did, it would make sense to recruit a fourth because the dynamic of the traitors, the three of them, is so fragile that to throw a fourth one in would be like a grenade. It'd be great.
That's true. Okay, I just think he's coming to say Amanda's left, so there's no murder. But we shall see very soon because we'll be talking about that on the next episode of Faithful to the Traitors. Yes.
I thought we had an email.
An email?
Yes. You read it out to me before we started.
I've got there's 5 more emails now since I last checked.
Let's just do the emails that let's not proofread emails while we're recording the
I can't remember
podcast.
which one it was.
My memory says me right, it was about the production crew getting involved.
Oh, yes. Gemma Archer. One thing that makes me think there is some result manipulation going on is that there have been quite a few roundtables where it's evident that the player has changed their vote on their slate. Do you think this is genuine, or could it be that they have had to make changes when the vote goes to a tie, or are the producers changing it to go a certain way?
Isn't there a suggestion also that there's been a few ties and so then
That's what I said. Yeah, a few ties, so they've had to refilm.
I mean, it would make sense again for the edit if they were to kind of cut it down so it looked like that basically more had been voted instead of showing the whole routine of them doing a tie. Because if there's a tie, then they have to re-vote again with just the two who have the majority of the votes. But I think if you on this episode there was a few rub outs as well, and there was an odd number, so there was no way there could have been a tie.
I just think it's the contestants. Like,
I suppose there could have been if someone voted just one person.
I think it's just them being really undecisive at the moment.
I
and,
agree.
Writing something and then rubbing it out and then just writing another. I don't think the votes around the round table could be
changed halfway.
Like, they can't be like producer manipulated quite as easily as a note falling out of a
someone's
situation.
And also Angelica, there was on episode 2 or 3, she had to quickly Alan Cummings told her, hurry up, you need to choose now, and she did rub one out and then as have we all, she did quickly rub out the name and then quickly write a new name in there. So I think you're right. I think, to be honest with you, as much as or at least Ben's been accusing some production manipulation on the show.
Yes.
I think on this occasion, I think the votes are very true and very pure, and I think they've been done.
I've got another one just come through live, everyone. So this is from Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
They said, enjoying the podcast. It's definitely interesting to hear from people who have no context for any of the celebrities. I'm interested to see if any of these people grow on you over the course of the time, as they've done so for us over here, who've known some of them for up to 17 years.
17 years? Yeah. I suppose Big Brother.
I think wasn't Suri on like Survivor ages ago? I'm not sure. They've also said, which is another person who's emailed us, they've said, I wanted to point out that Andy uses they, them pronouns. I don't think it's stated on the show, but if you pay attention, some of the contestants are using they, them when they're talking about Andy. Just wanted to let you know, to make you aware, I've heard you use she, her pronouns on the podcast, but I don't think you're doing it intentionally. Excited to see how the rest of the season goes, for you both loving the podcast.
Thank you very
so we
much.
had a few emails of that. We had no idea.
No.
I didn't even notice people on the show saying they, them. So,
but we
yes,
honestly,
I do apologise for that, because that is not something that we would do.
Absolutely. We would not misgender anyone. So yeah, apologise 100%.
But we've purposely not looked up any of the contestants or anyone to know anything about them. But I didn't notice on the show. I was saying on a show over here, Glow Up.
Yeah,
it is internationally famous because of the series one.
Oh yeah, it's on Netflix, isn't it?
I looked at the show.
The bit when the guy's having his makeup done, and he keeps flicking his head toward the camera.
Makeup, and he looks at the camera.
Yes, that's fantastic.
On that show, I think it was the first show in the UK where contestants, where pronouns it says their names and their age or where they're from, it says their pronouns as well, which is actually really good. So I do feel like they need to do it on more shows for stuff like this.
Exactly, because then if we're discussing the person, then we can not misgender them. And 100%, I would never in a
they
million
need to
years
do-
misgender anyone.
Yeah, Glow Up's
purposely.
way of doing it is really good. Mm-hmm. Especially when you don't want to, because they've released all the episodes at once, we don't want to look up any contestants
Well, we don't. Yeah.
in case we get spoilers.
Though, quickly to answer the second email question, is there any celebrities, inverted commas celebrities, well-known people
That are growing on you.
who have grown on
Ryan.
you? Well, I love Ryan. Oh, someone did get in touch and say that it was something to do with something that happened at the Olympics that he did.
Yes, he
got mugged or
something
at
about
gunpoint.
being on gunpoint at Olympics or something. I have no idea. Who has grown on me? Rachel. I like Rachel, but I didn't really know. I did not like her to begin with.
Kate. I mean, I've been championing Kate's corner in this episode, 100%. But I must say, I don't think I'd want to go. I wouldn't want to be around a very
You wouldn't
drunk
have a glass
Kate.
of wine with her. Brandy.
I would have
no.
a glass of wine with her, but I think if it went to a bottle, I'd be very, very afraid.
Ari as well. He's meant to be known of this. I don't know what he did on The Bachelor, but apparently he wasn't a very nice bachelor or whatever. But I don't mind him. He's not done much on the show yet, but yeah, I don't mind him.
I quite like Cody. Again, apparently he was really quite very good game player on
Yeah, well,
Big
we're
Brother.
seeing the soft side of him, aren't
But
we?
I quite like Cody. I've got no
Yeah.
problem with Cody whatsoever. But that could change.
But
Yeah.
I like Stephanie.
Do you?
But it was basically my issues were Brandy and Kate. I've said that from the beginning. I'm still saying it now.
The twins.
My opinions haven't changed as of yet.
No, that's good. You're a man of
But, you know, we're halfway through the series. There's still time.
conviction. You're a man of conviction.
There's still time.
What, for you to like Kate or for you to continue hating her?
Either, yeah.
Okay, good.
There's
Either
still
or.
time to turn it around.
So if anyone wants to get in touch with us on an email, as you can see, we read them out live now, apparently.
Yeah.
Just flicking them up and bolting them out. You can email us faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. We are recording this as we're watching them. So honestly, if you're sending them to us after you've just listened to this episode, likelihood is that we're still recording the episodes so we can read them out.
Exactly. So
as
just
we
send
go.
us emails or tweets or whatever, and we can
Tweets,
hopefully.
yep. Tweets, you can get in
them.
touch with us at Traitors Podcast. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or any of your favourite podcast apps, please remember that if you're enjoying the show, to give us 5 stars. And if you don't enjoy the show, don't worry about it. Just find
don't
something
rate.
else and listen to something else. Yeah. But we love you all. And thank you. We love all your emails.
Lovely. So there you go. It's another episode of Faithful to the Traitors.